Welcome back to yet another episode of the Oh No Wrestling Podcast. Joining me tonight, as always, it's my good friend, the king of bong style. His name is Duncan. How you doing, Duncan?
So good. And I even remembered to unmute.
I really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Owen. I am your reigning, defending champion, your predictions champion. I'm your Sharp Break Kid. And joining us tonight, unfortunately, our good friend, the modern-day Maharaja, Matthew, could not be with us as he's on business, traveling the country. But we do have a nice fill-in, and he's one of our good friends. He's second appearance on the show. It's our good friend Duce from the Happy Hour with Johnny and Duce podcast. How you doing, Duce?
Doing great, buddy. It's your world heavyweight drinking champion of Polk County in his weight division. It's good to see you, boys.
Hey, it's good to have you back. And yeah, we've got plenty to talk about tonight. Thankfully for myself, no predictions this evening, so I'll survive another week.
Thankfully for all of us, I'm not mentally prepared for predictions.
yeah. Maybe next week. Definitely next week we'll do predictions for Clash of Champions, but I think I'm safe until then. But let's, without further ado, get the show started. And kind of before we get really into what's gone on in the wrestling world this past week or so, I want to talk to Duce about something he needs to promote that I think all our fans would be really interested in. Duce, you have a sponsor of yours for your show, and it's a new upstart. How long has this promotion, Thunder Championship Wrestling, been around?
To be honest with you, I want to say it's been about a year, because
Okay.
I want to say they've had about 5 to 6 shows before the COVID shut everything down, because they were going to have a big WrestleMania show, and we were really excited about that in the middle of promoting that. And then, the apocalypse happens.
Of course.
So
It did.
it did. But, man, I am so excited for them to come back. They're actually coming back 7 days from now. It's going to be the 25th, so next Friday. It's going to be 7 p.m. The gates open. Bell time's 8 p.m. And it's going to be at Tanner's Lakeside, which is a really cool lakeside restaurant here in Winter Haven. And it's going to be awesome. And, tickets start at $10. But here's the great thing. And I kind of worked with them to help you guys as listeners out, because I know there's some people out in Orlando that want to see live wrestling. Well, I didn't want you to drive out and not be able to get a ticket because there's limited seating, because, we can only have so many
Limited
people.
capacity. Yep.
Right. So here's what you can do. You can email them at tcw.flwrestling@gmail.com and just say, hey, I want to come out. I've got X amount of people, and they'll talk to you, and you can PayPal them, and they can, send you the tickets or have the tickets waiting at the door. Y'all can figure it out. But then at least you've got your tickets locked in before you drive an hour out here, because I didn't want any of your good, amazing, loyal listeners to drive all the way out and then be like, hey, sorry, we're out of tickets. Because I talked to the promoter actually literally right before the show. He told me they've only have 3 high tops left and 1 tabletop left. And then they've got general admission left, of course. But it's going to be a great show. They've got 5 different AEW talents that are going to be there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great, local indie guys that are going to be there. And I just love it, man. It's an awesome show. It's great. And also, it's at a bar, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
It's at a bar. They're going to have, drink specials and food specials. And it's just going to be a really, really cool night of fun. And like I said, a lot of AEW stars are going to be there. So it's going to be dope, man. I'm super excited.
And for those of you who were worried about the, being at a live show in the age of the world shutting down in the pandemic, it sounds like that Thunder Championship Wrestling is making every effort to do this right with distancing and
it's outside.
It's outside.
Yeah.
So I think this is not where they usually or typically have done their shows. And,
No.
and this is a new venue, so they can provide the safety that I think we all kind of want and require in this weird ass time. So just to brush over once again, it's September 25th, 8 p.m. Bell ring time, 7 p.m. gate. And you said that it's $10 for general admission, and how much for the high tops, and what was the ring
high
set?
tops, basically how they work is with the high tops, it's still $10 a ticket, but you got to buy all 4. So it's $40 for the table because you got to buy the whole table.
I understand that.
And same thing with the tabletop. Now the tabletop you have to talk to him because he had some 4 tops and he had some 6 tops, and I'm not sure exactly how big the last one he has left. But here is the other good piece of news. If you get a general admission seat, because it's kind of like lawn seating, it's kind of like spaced out because it's on a lake. And so they're going to have some like, lawn chairs, but they've also got some picnic tables set up and stuff. But it's going to be first come, first serve. But if you go ahead and buy your tickets ahead of time, you can actually get in at 6:45. So you can get in 15 minutes early. So you can go ahead and claim your picnic table or your lawn chair, go ahead and kind of get your spot general admission wise before everybody else. Now, the good news is, like us with Happy Hour, Johnny and Duce, we have got a high top table. So our table is reserved. We got table number 1 right by the bar, baby, because Thunder knows what we like. So they've got it all set up. So if you buy a high top or a tabletop, you don't have to worry about when you get there because it's got your name on it. So
right, it's reserved. You walk right in. You sit down right away. That's
right.
Cool. What do we got? What do we got match wise? And who are those AEW talents that you were mentioning that some of our listeners might know?
The AEW wrestlers that you'll know is Kylan King. She's going to be there. Storm Thomas is going to be there. Fabu Andre is going to be there. And D3 is going to be there, and they have all been on AEW Dark. Also, Tokyo Monster Kahagas is going to be there, and he is, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, is a Triple Crown NWA champion.
Very cool.
Yeah, so he's really awesome, and the Dirty Blondes are going to be there. My good buddy Ray Bees, aka Boots, is going to be there. The greatest homeless indie wrestler in the business.
I would have asked Duncan, have you heard of this guy and this gimmick?
I don't know. I know Ray Bees because he's a New York hardcore legend. Like they have his boots hanging up in New York hardcore tattoo. So he is definitely on some of the circles that I run with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the same guy though, brother.
No, that dude's been dead for a long time. So what I'm saying is like that name carries a certain connotation in other circles. So I hear Ray Bees, aka Boots, and I'm just like, ooh, you might want to watch who catches that gimmick.
Yeah, gimmick infringement there.
Because somebody will catch a beat down if they think it's disrespectful to their boy. That's all I'm saying.
I've seen some promos of this guy though, and I've seen some stuff, and he does definitely seem like a guy that we would both enjoy in a pro wrestling setting. So
man, he's the best. He's actually been to my home because he's done a couple episodes of the show. He's just like us, man. He's a big fanboy. He loves toys. He loves comics. Like he's just cool as shit, and just the whole, because what he does is he's got a shopping cart full of trash, and he's got "Will Wrestle for Food" sign. And what he does, because he lives the gimmick like Ric Flair, the whole day, whatever town they're in, all day he walks around town as a homeless person, like with the sign until like
work in the town.
Yeah, work in the town, and then he'll come and wait outside the show with the sign and the trash buggy. And then when it's time for his match, he'll come in with the trash buggy, and of course, the buggy is always filled with the plunder, my friends. So it's always a good time. But yeah, man, it's a great show. I know Anna Diaz is going to be there as well, and she is actually the women's champion of Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum. And she's been actually on their shows quite a few times, and it'll be a good match. And the Dirty Blondes are going to be there. It's going to be a great time. We have so much fun.
Like, no offense to Winter Haven or Polk County, but I'll throw some shade. But it must be hard to get some of that talent out there. And it sounds like a really great lineup for it being in Winter Haven, Florida. Let's just be real. I think everybody's desperate to see a pro wrestling show, and I'm sure these wrestlers are desperate to get out there and actually do it.
Well, I'm just super excited. Like, it's a family event for us. Like, I take my dad. Me and my dad have been to pretty much every show. My mom's actually coming this time. It'll be her first wrestling experience. So I'm
I
super
want to
excited
meet
about
Mama
that.
Deuce. I want to meet
Yeah.
Mama Deuce sometime.
Oh man, she's kind of excited about it because during COVID we've watched a lot of wrestling. She's got her favorite AEW wrestlers now. So it's gonna be fun to see her at her first live wrestling experience.
That's
I'm super
funny.
excited about that.
So
yeah.
that's funny. Your mom has gotten into wrestling during the pandemic.
Well, that's all me and my dad have been watching. So like, she'll come in and watch it with us, and like she's already got her favorites.
Who's
like,
she
she's
like?
got
Who
the
does she
people-
like?
She likes Darby Allin a lot.
Okay.
Now, also to preface this, my dad is turning 80 this year, so my mom is.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. A little
but
older. Let's just say a little older.
But like she loves Darby Allin. Once I told her the story of the makeup and the whole like his uncle being an alcoholic and all that, she was like, "I like this kid," and she loves Adam Page because she just loves the cowboy gimmick. And
Well,
loves,
he's a
like-
pretty boy too. Let's
Yeah,
be real.
exactly.
He's a
Yeah.
handsome man.
Yeah. So she likes him a lot. Like there's a lot of guys she likes, but I'd say those are definitely like her two big people that she really likes. Like when they're on, she's like she wants to check it out. Oh, and it was funny. So she was at our house for the party for All Out. So she's waiting for this tooth and nail match because they kept hyping it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, Mom, it's going to be on the pre-show at like 7:30 because she was like, oh, we're going to go home, So she didn't get to see it. So I taped it. And then the next day she came over and watched it. And she used to live in Orlando and in Winter Park. So in that area. So like when she saw that it was in Winter Park and stuff, she dug it. She thought it was pretty damn fun.
Yeah, no, I mean it had
So,
its
yeah.
merits. It had its merits.
Yeah.
Does your mom watch wrestling still, Duncan? I know that she did.
My mom never
Never
was a
did?
wrestling fan.
No.
My grandma.
That's who I'm
is-
thinking of. It was grandma. Yeah.
My grandma is how I got into wrestling in the first place.
Who was her guy?
So, she loved Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like she
I
was a
figured.
Hulk Hogan. She was Hulk Hogan, and like that, I was a little Hulkamaniac when I was growing up. Because I'm in my late 30s. Like that's
It's the age. It's just
it's the age.
Yeah.
And Macho Man, and like some of my earliest memories are of like watching and like being excited when my local video store, because I didn't even have cable where I grew up, so pay-per-view was out of the question. So when my local video store would get the new WWF pay-per-view tapes to rent,
Yeah.
and it would be months after it had happened.
And they were
but-
always like those pay-per-view tapes back in the day. I don't know if it was the same case at your local like Blockbuster or video store, but they always
Video
were
Den.
more expensive than just renting, a horror movie or what have you. They always seem to be like,
most of them were
an
like
upcharge.
a lot of them were two
tapes.
Yeah,
So that's
two
what
tapes.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Is you probably had to rent both tapes, therefore it was
Yep.
more expensive than just renting a movie or whatever.
I used to, and it was like when you're a kid, you don't remember which ones are the double tapes and which ones are the single tapes. So like you'd go and you'd pick one, and it was one that because my video guy, once he had gotten the use out of it, and I was pretty much the only one renting it, he would just sell the shit to me,
Nice.
to my grandma, and then my grandma would give it to me. So like I had a collection of WWF
Well, it's almost
VHS tapes.
early tape trading, in that sense.
Yeah, except it was all fucking Coliseum video.
Coliseum
And just-
video, yeah.
Like I have I have this little brass it almost looks like a paperweight, but it's Royal Rumble 1991. Like it was a promo that they
Wow.
sent out with that they sent out to video stores.
It almost looks like a belt buckle, right? Like
It does.
Yeah,
It does. It looks
yeah.
exactly like a belt buckle, but it's not. And they would send out these gifts and promos to the video stores because they would charge like $90 or $100 to buy these tapes. And
Yeah.
the video guy, Doug, he would always like save it and give the stuff to me. And
Hook
it
you
was,
up with it.
dude, Doug hooked it up. And that's one of the things in my bin of wrestling shit that I have for sale that I'll eventually post someday.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Well, yeah, if you want any of that, just make sure to follow the Ono Wrestling group, because I'll post links to anything that Duncan is selling, and you'll be able to pick any of that up. And he's got a lot of old Hasbros that I think I'm going to be picking up. And
can we get like a first dib page for people that have been on the show? Because like I definitely want some of this stuff. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, like, Duce, you gotta see some of the stuff that Duncan has collected over the years, because there's a lot in there that you can't find anymore. It's our youth, like in a goddamn Rubbermaid bin.
Oh. It really and the good news, I could drive up there and get it, so he don't even have to ship it. So
that's even better.
You said extra large, sometime extra large
2X, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Conveniently, everything in that, all 38 T-shirts are extra large or 2X.
Nice.
There you
and
go.
And they're all like, dude, the amount of Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Shit that I have.
Sure is insane.
You've got a ton of shirts, man.
I have a ton of shirts. I'm getting rid of a ton of shirts, and I still fucking have a ton of shirts. Like, this is it's
an
problem.
Addiction. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I express myself through wrestling T-shirts. So
well,
that's apparently what we do in our 30s.
Since you just brought up Bullet Club, I think we'll hop in right here as our Finn Balor is our new NXT champion, of course, former member of Bullet Club. It was a good match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was the right call to put it on Balor, and I'm sure you guys both saw the after-match reaction with Adam Cole, who went backstage and gave him a good old too sweet at the after the match. It's a good move. I hope they keep it on him now for a little while. What are your thoughts?
Dude, I think it's good. I think Finn brings some more. Not that Adam Cole didn't bring legitimacy to the belt, but I think you've now gone from this really long, prestigious reign on Adam Cole, which brought it up, and now Finn Balor has it again, which brings it up even higher. So I like it.
Is he the first two-time men's NXT champ?
I do not know.
I feel like he is. If they're rare, if he's not the first, he's definitely one of the only.
Right.
Like there might be one other, but I'm struggling to remember it. But yeah, I don't know. What are they? Do you know what they're setting up next for Finn? It seems like it's maybe Cameron Grimes or.
First of all, I love Cameron Grimes.
I hated him at first, but I've come around. Look,
I'm telling. If you watch people on the indies, you get just a totally different appreciation. Because like I love Cameron Grimes as Trevor Lee. Impact superstar Trevor Lee is how he would make them.
See, I haven't ever seen any of that. I've never seen that.
So when he was at PWG, he would make them introduce him as Impact television superstar.
That's awesome.
Trevor Lee. And everybody would just boo the shit out of him. And he was just like, hey, fuck you, I'm on TV. And it was like...
And you motherfuckers ain't.
Exactly. So, and he's good. And he's really good in the ring. So, I like it.
I do too. Are you looking up that statistic that I just asked?
Yeah, and it's being a dickhead.
It's fine.
List of NXT champions, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Like I know who the list is, but I'm just gonna have to do more research. Owen, stand by.
No. You do your thing. If you can't find it, you can't find it. But I feel like there's only maybe one other if Finn's not the first. Like I know there's not a ton of them. I think Adam Cole's reign was just one single reign. I don't think that he never lost it and got it back. So
it was Samoa
Joe. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Samoa Joe and then Shinsuke.
Both of them had it twice.
Yeah, right after each other.
Oh wow. That I had completely forgotten about, but I'll take your word for it for damn sure.
So Adam Cole had it
the longest.
396 days, officially recognized as 403.
Ooh,
which
wow.
is this was Matthew reading off these stats, and I'm just like, I don't understand how numbers work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember that from last week. So yeah, Adam Cole. I mean, it was a hell of a run, but then since he lost it, June 1st, we've had now this is the third champion, because you had Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, and now Finn Balor.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of changes in a short amount of time. So it would make sense now to keep it on Finn for a bit, a decent amount of time.
Finn's a really good person to set up as your guy.
Yeah.
In NXT right now.
No,
he was the guy before. He's still the guy. Like, he's the one that, like, when you want to have somebody, like, you want to really build somebody, Finn puts him over.
No, 100%. Other reason I wanted to bring up Finn Balor is he put out a very interesting tweet the other day. And the tweet I don't have right in front of me, like verbatim, but the general, 2 cents of it is that he made a comment about how he wants to create a quote unquote club with Adam Cole and AJ Styles. And
I'm looking up this tweet.
If they were to do that, obviously seems like more of a main roster move, and it kind of like negates what I'm saying about Finn Balor being a great NXT guy and like the head of that brand. But how awesome would that be to have 3 former members of Bullet Club together, working together on the main roster? Perfect for AJ, who, let's be honest, like, he can still go better than most of the kids, but he is getting older. And then a great way to introduce the casual mainstream fan to Adam Cole, who can honestly, like, later turn on them and have, a huge, singles run after the fact. But I think having that rub for Adam Cole, not that he needs it in most people's eyes, but he does in some, because they're just not familiar with NXT. This to me would be super cool. My question to both of you guys is, what do you call it if that were to ever come into fruition?
Man.
We
That's
literally
really
have the
question.
exact same face, too. And we're just like, whatever you do, please stay away from the word club involved.
Right. And
I'd almost want it to be its own name, because, like, now when they were doing the OC, the original club with the Good Brothers, I dug that shit. I was like, damn, that's a cool idea. And, like, that's, like, as close as you can kind of rub up against it, and it's still, be cool. But I don't know if they want to resurrect that name. But my question to you guys would be, let's say they form this club or whatever.
Right.
Why couldn't they just float between all 3 brands?
Oh, I'd love
Raw
that.
and SmackDown.
I'd love that. That's
yeah.
And have one on each brand. Have Adam, have Finn still be on NXT as your champion. Have AJ, who's obviously on SmackDown, competing for the IC title, and then have Adam Cole on Raw, because Adam Cole seems more of a Raw guy to me than a SmackDown guy. I don't know really why, but I feel like but 100% right. Like, having like one guy on each brand almost makes them
other
stronger.
Two could be like, hey, I'm just going to see my buddy. I'm just going to see my buddy, and then they come and jump in.
They show up at Full Sail randomly, or
this is what they should do with Retribution.
Yeah, the dumbest move that they made with them recently was making them Raw exclusive. So dumb.
It's like, oh, okay, so it's really just some horseshit. Like, that was the thing I didn't understand. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
How can you be this anarchistic group that is?
But we only come on Raw.
Yeah, but yeah, anarchy is only allowed on Raw.
Only.
No anarchy on Wednesdays or Fridays.
Fox doesn't allow anarchy, remember?
No, Fox is not. Are you kidding? Fox would love anarchy. Fox loves batshit insanity because it brings them viewers. Like, so anytime something cool happens on SmackDown, Fox is like, yeah, bring that shit. And they retweet the fuck out of it. And so
I
they're
don't
more
know.
active on it than USA is.
Obviously, I asked you that question. I don't really expect a response as to what you would call that new faction or what have you. That's for them to figure out. What I will...
It will be some sort of shot, right?
Yeah.
Like, it'll be some sort of, like, little WWE shot at either AEW or the indies in general, right? And for that reason, it won't work.
Yeah,
because,
just
like,
make it its own thing. Like Undisputed Era was when it debuted. Like, that's what made that work. I do get the weird rumblings, though, while we're on this topic. And why it kind of makes sense with Finn's tweet and what we're talking about here.
Which I could not find, by the way. Like, that tweet does not exist on his Twitter.
Maybe it got deleted or something. I don't know. But I saw
Maybe
it.
it was Adam Cole. Maybe it was an Adam Cole tweet?
I think it was Finn. It was definitely Finn. If I can find it, I'll find it. But yeah, no, I think I just have this weird sense that there's rumblings of an Undisputed Era breakup in the near future, like, or a new leader or what have you, just to set. I just kind of want Adam Cole to be set up differently than his NXT run, whether that's with a new faction with Finn and AJ or just as a single star.
So do you think that the Undisputed Era gimmick has run its course?
A little bit.
Because I'm not entirely sure that I see that working with any guys but those four. I guess it could work if you replace Cole with somebody else, but who?
Yeah, I don't
like that's the real question that I have is, like, who would you replace? Like, who is that sort of...
You'd need almost someone from the outside, probably. Like, you'd need a dramatic takeover, or you do it. Maybe Roddy Strong, like, maybe he steps up into that role.
But who steps in?
I don't know.
Because I don't like. Because is it Undisputed Era with only 3 of them? You could argue it, but I would say that.
Or you have a guy maybe from the main roster take a step to NXT, and I don't want to say step down because it isn't anymore. I was about to, but I tried to correct myself there. What if you had someone like a Ricochet hop in there? Like someone that's being kind of underutilized on the main roster.
I mean, I love Ricochet. I don't know, because hasn't he had feuds with Undisputed Era himself? Like, I feel like that would be sort of an awkward grasp.
Kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. Dude, I love that idea. I also love the idea of just do a new Nexus sort of thing, right? Instead of it just being the Undisputed Era. Maybe Undisputed Era shows up, and maybe some of those NXT guys, like you say, who have been underutilized, all join together.
Yeah.
Right? Because the thing is, well, fuck, Roman's back. I was going to say there's no John Cena to beat 12 of them in one match.
But Roman's back, so yes, there is.
Roman's back, so...
And that's what's going to happen. Well, I would have said that's going to happen with Retribution, but they're, of course, on on Raw, so...
I'm so quickly losing interest in Retribution.
Me too.
Like, I think you missed your window to pull the trigger on that at fucking Payback.
Yeah.
Or Backlash, or whatever the last pay-per-view
Payback.
was.
Which Retribution, we talked about it on the show, is a literal synonym for Payback. So how do you not use that?
It wrote its fucking self. How do you fuck that up? I get so frustrated by the little things. It's just like, yeah, is it predictable? Yes, but does it work? Is it fucking like just perfect, yes. The only possible thing I can think of is that they don't know what they're fucking doing with them yet, and they still don't know who it's gonna be.
I still don't. I think that they know like maybe 4 or 5 of the people because they've been
you're giving them a lot of credit.
They've been pretty consistent using these 4 or 5 people that are obviously Mia Yim, Jericovid. There's a few others in there that I've forgotten already, but mostly it's all NXT guys. What was that comment? Sure. What was the guy? He was a commentator for a hot second and got F5'd by Brock Lesnar. Black dude with dreads went back to developmental or something. He's in there. He's in there as like one of the constants. But then they show up with like 20 people.
And it also doesn't mean that those people, right, are going to be the ones that, dude, like they're gonna swerve everybody, and like when they actually do. The next time you see Retribution and none of them look like who they normally are, that's when they're gonna.
That's when they pull the masks off.
Yep.
You know, and I'd honestly, at this point, I'd be fine with that. They just need to do it soon. Like you said, it's run out of steam. It's, you know, having it be Raw only is a problem, and also just in general, like it's gone too long. Like we needed at least like a hint, or we needed maybe one guy, even if it's not the leader. We needed to know somebody that would be associated with it. Maybe don't do them all at once, but stagger it throughout the week so that it keeps the interest as to, who's the leader? Kind of even like what the Dark Order did, where it was like that Evil Uno at first and kind of like getting these guys in to then eventually like, oh, wow, it's Brody Lee. That's the leader. Now, we know that wasn't the original plan in AEW, but they made it work, and they were always going to have somebody of large stature, I think, be the leader of the Dark Order. So that's what they kind of need with Retribution. I still speculate that it could be The Miz. I still think that like something like that could work. And I think, quite frankly, they need the main guy, the leader of Retribution. I think it would be foolish to have that person be an NXT guy. I think it almost needs to have some main roster rub on it to, at this point, even get a reaction from anyone. Because if they just remove the hood, if they remove all the hoods and the casual viewer doesn't know who any of them are, well, then they don't care.
That's true. Duce, you got a very Beer City brawler / yeah. I was like, I'm liking it. I'm like, you got a very Ring of Honor vibe going on. Second,
what up, Matt? Good to see you out there. He's a buddy of mine, actually. The Beer City Cruiser. Yeah,
the Beer City. Dude, I pop for that guy. That's a fun tag.
He's been on the show a couple times. He's a great guy. But anyways, awesome. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
All right. He gets the ONW stamp of approval for my high ass over here. You could tell him that. I fucking, as much as I am not a fan, god damn it, the most genius move I can see for Retribution, Punk.
Yeah. And that, for me, as somebody who's checked out of WWE totally, that's about the only damn thing that's going to make me come back at this point. Because I could give about half a shit about what they're doing.
I think we're all a little bit on that level, but...
I will tell you, like, I watch and I support NXT because I got a homie going through developmental, right? Yeah. So, like, every now and again...
Shout out to Sydney!
Right? Like, dude, and my guy is killing it, and so it's just like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. And, dude, and NXT is still...
It's a good product still.
Consistently a good product. Like,
and if they move it to Tuesday night, I might get back into it and like try and watch. But now that it's competing with AEW, like I'm not going to watch because they're competing with AEW. It's not going to happen. But that's the only product I'm remotely invested in, because Raw, I do technically watch because it's on in the bedroom when I go to sleep. And SmackDown.
But it's a passive watch. It's kind of background noise. Like I view it the same way, man. I have it on, but I'm not like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch a karaoke contest. You know, maybe if there's a decent main event.
It's not 2001 anymore. Like, I don't understand why we have these weird, ridiculous fucking like, okay, sure, at some point gimmicks do work, and that's why people watch professional wrestling. But also, like, stop it. Like, you got to have a balance, right? Like, give me some good to go with this dog shit, right? And then I don't understand. Matthew, I'm with you. I still don't understand what we're doing with Raw Underground, because, like, is it a legit thing that we're, like, what is it? Is it just an unlockable mode that we get for, like, you know, hitting
for WWE 2K, you know, 2022
or
whatever.
Like we could just hit cool, we got the unlockable, we have the option to unlock a different arena for this one, so we're just gonna do it, and it just looks different. I don't get it.
But you gotta remember, you gotta whip them into the next frame so that they
exactly. I will
never
never not pop for the fucking during the stadium stampede when they did that.
We're pulling that off.
Like, you sons of bitches. Like, that's the kind of and that's the kind of wrestling shit that I popped for. Like, I popped for dumb little Easter eggs from my childhood, which I think all the rest of us do too. And so I want, going back to the retribution thing, like, you're right, it has to have some kind of main roster power behind it. It has to be somebody that hood comes off and you immediately are just like, okay,
that makes sense. Like, or we should have known
even
the whole
if it
time.
doesn't make sense, you recognize the face immediately.
Yes, I agree.
So
I was thinking too, and we talked about this, I'm pretty sure, but what if it was somebody that got furloughed or laid off earlier on, you know, in the great, you know, Black Wednesday layoffs? What if it was somebody that they've, like, brought back in, and maybe that's what they're waiting for, is somebody to sign that contract again, and they thought that they might be able to get one, and now they're like,
that's the thing, is like, who's the big draw
out of that? Most of them have been signed. That was any of the draws.
Is it No Way Jose? Like, I mean, but this is what I'm saying.
Joke of the night right there. Don't you joke of the night.
Like, this is what I'm saying, though. It's just like he's somebody that some people would recognize, like NXT fans would recognize. But, like, as far as that being, you know, like, what is it going to be? Heath? Has he officially signed with Impact?
I think he actually did officially sign, so it's probably not that. You joke about the No Way Jose thing, but right after he got released, he did, like, post some pictures on his Instagram that I remember seeing of him changing up his gimmick, and I want to say he even shaved his head, or he did something different with his hair. Like, he looked a lot different.
He looked totally different.
He looked tough. Like, he looked tough as hell. And I'm like, you know, as much as we joke about it, he might not be recognizable enough for them to get that pop that they want, but I could see him maybe being like a second in command in Retribution. It could
definitely be a factor.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have other NXT, and that's why I'm saying, like, you're calling it Retribution, do you already have something in mind? Because if you don't have something in mind, calling it Retribution is, like, really building yourself up for failure.
Couldn't agree more, because you're only going to get fans, you know, backlashing on you the other way if it doesn't, if they don't get their Retribution as well. Like, that's the whole point. It's the little guy. It's the, you know, taking on the corporate menace. And if you don't have some of the little guy win, then it's what happened with the Nexus, in a sense, right? Like, it all falls just back to that. Now we've just created something, wasted 6 months of your life with this, you know, teasing this thing for it to all just turn into complete dog shit.
For it to be lol, Cena wins.
Right.
I don't know. And what I really don't want to have happen is I really just don't want to turn on Raw one day and they just don't mention it. And it's like, okay, that's weird. And then the next week they don't mention it. And then it's just gone.
It takes 3 weeks with wrestling fans too.
That's it.
It takes about 3 weeks, and it'll be forgotten, and it'll be never again. I mean, let's just look at the SmackDown hacker.
Oh, dude.
Which if they were to have tied the retribution thing in with the SmackDown hacker, that could have worked. That could have worked very, very nicely.
Realistically, still could have, had they not said retribution is now a Raw.
Yep.
And dude, what this brand exclusive bullshit? Like,
it's dumb.
It is dumb because you know that Fox wants big names on their airwaves, so they're not gonna just let it be, like Raw be the gets everybody.
Yeah.
That's why Roman is on fucking SmackDown.
And I can see why too. I mean, yeah, it does make complete sense that you would put him there. Really, he's the most marketable, and let's be honest, he's the new John Cena, right? Like, so why wouldn't he be on the quote unquote flagship show on the major network and all that? Like,
right. And
especially with the new gimmick change, one of the things. Speaking of that. And we'll switch gears. We can always come back. We can bounce around, dance around. I don't really care because there's no real agenda on this show. You know how we do. But I don't think we mentioned last week about how they positioned Jey Uso in this as the number one contender and will be facing Roman Reigns
because it hadn't happened yet. Because.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh
yeah. No, I think it did. It had happened.
We just didn't talk about it. Because it's a foregone conclusion that obviously Roman is going to win, so we just didn't devote any time to it.
But I have to give credit where credit's due and say that Jey Uso looked like $1,000,000 fucking bucks, both in the promo and in the match, and just in physique. Guy looked awesome. And for the first time in my life, I've ever looked at either of the Usos and been like, that guy could be a top singles guy. I've never, ever thought of him like that. So,
no, I mean, why
kudos on them for at least, we know he's not going to win the belt, but for kudos to them for just a little while being able to elevate him that much more. And good on, Jey Uso himself for getting in that great a shape. Like, I thoroughly impressed and definitely I felt the need to say that.
You can definitely tell the wrestlers who have had their own access to gym equipment
during the pandemic,
dude, because like Uce is ripped. Fucking Big Uce Roman is fucking ripped. And like Ricochet, Aleister Black,
and
fucking
perfect segue, because when he debuted on AEW, not 2 days ago, but the previous Wednesday or previous Dynamite, fucking MIRO looked like $1,000,000 in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he was wearing about $1,000,000 worth of clothes, I think was the joke that people were making.
Which is, that is funny.
Yeah, I'm just like, you really paid that much to look homeless? That's wild to me.
Yeah.
But
that's that Gucci style, bro. Like you gotta spend $500 on a t-shirt. Duncan
is that really a $500 t-shirt?
Oh, dude, Duncan sent me the best meme ever. That Colt Cabana actually posted it himself.
Colt posted it, yeah. So it was just
Colt Cabana. If you don't know wrestling fans, notoriously cheap. Like he is a very.
I don't want to say that it's a stereotype.
But I never went that far. I'm just saying he's a frugal man. That's all.
No, he is very open about it.
Yes, he is.
So he literally somebody made a meme and it was the photo shoot of MIRO, and it's like, $1,000 for the pants, $500 for the shoes, the $500 shirt, like all of the how much it costs, and then Colt posted one and it's him in the same thing, and he's just like,
shirt I stole from Excalibur,
Yeah, it was like jacket I stole from Excalibur. Shirt Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees made for me. Pants
$7 sweatpants $7. Or whatever.
Yeah, and then like shoes, luggage or airline paid for due to ruined luggage. Yeah. So it was just I'm just like, oh, I love you, Cole.
Yeah, because when he came out, like I literally thought that was like a $20 T-shirt and like what I call sleep and go pants, like sleeping pants that he had on. I was like, you're wearing like $30 worth of clothes for your debut, man. I thought you had dressed up a little nicer, but
Miro, he tells
that's a world we don't understand.
It does,
I don't.
We're not. I mean, Polk County. I'm not surprised, but I will say that it's myself. I don't get it either.
Right.
It's I'm not. Hey, can't cast that many stones, but for sure he showed up in something that he spent like a lot of money on. He had to like, I believe. Was it? I forgot what podcast it was on. I heard this, but there was an interview with Miro about his debut and about that outfit and how he had to have a friend in Miami. He couldn't find any of the sizes he wanted where he was living.
Because they live in Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville. He couldn't find any of the sizes anywhere near him. But he had a friend that lived in Miami that could pick the stuff up and like drove it up to Jacksonville for him. And the joke is, it's just like, why was that so important?
Right.
And it was like a $2,000 ensemble, like really all said and done.
It was like all Gucci, man.
For fashion people that know about that crap, like he was
hype beasts, as we call them.
What are they called?
Hype beasts. Hype.
Hype?
HYPE.
Oh, hype. I thought it was
like a hype beast.
Okay.
Like these are the dickheads that'll wait in line 8 hours to get a shirt that literally just says Supreme on it. Like that's
a lot of sneakerheads are like that and that type of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so once again,
so what did you think of the best man's debut? Because I popped hard. I mean,
I popped super hard. Like I thought it was awesome. Like I was super excited when I saw it. My only complaint, and it's not about the debut, is that we haven't seen him do anything yet. Because like I was waiting for the next AEW Dark for him to have a match. He didn't. The week after this past Wednesday night, he didn't have a match. I was like, I kind of wanted to see something.
I understand your point, but I think they're stupid to waste it. I think that you sell Miro's first match on the next pay-per-view. Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't, argue that point. For me, I kind of would like to see him just because I'm not I like the guy. I liked Rusev. I wasn't the biggest mark for him, so it's not like I'm like, oh my God, Rusev's here or Miro's here. But I think he's got potential.
I was exactly that.
Yeah. Exactly that. I mean, like during Rusev Day, we were all marks for Rusev Day.
God, yeah.
But yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, Duce. Like I like Miro. I'm just not. And you had texted me, and I was just like, I wasn't watching, but I was also like dead ass tired. So I looked at it and I was like, cool. And I literally just like fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't even think you responded to the next day.
I didn't. And it was legitimately because I fell asleep at 8 p.m. because I'm a 75-year-old man.
I'm not mad.
So, no, I like Miro. I think that he's got a lot of potential. I don't think he needs to have a match. think he needs to do something physical. Like he just needs to like
beat someone up or like defend himself.
Just put somebody in the accolade, whatever the fuck they're gonna call it now. Have him hit somebody with that super kick or whatever. Have him do his thing and then hit somebody with a kick, and that's all I really need. And then he can have a proper match somewhere else. And I don't even need that, but I think that it will get a little bit more non-Rusev marks involved in it.
A couple of things with Rusev. I think that he landed in the perfect place where he's going to be allowed to be because he is a creative, funny guy. And I think that he's landed in the perfect place, that AEW is going to recognize that. I expect him to be on Being the Elite in a couple weeks. Like, you watch. Like, he's going to be a guy that adopts to that.
If he's not on the next episode, you know what I mean?
On Monday or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, so I think that he landed well there, and that there's no way. The contract sounds like it for at least a couple of years, but there's no way. Thank you, by the way, on that one. And but there's that they have hired him for 2 years, like, apparently, with the contract. It's a fairly large contract with AEW. At least 2 years is, I think, what was being reported. That they don't plan on probably putting a major title on him in the foreseeable future, I guess is what I'm saying. I think he's going to do great with his comedic skills. The other thing with him is it seems blatantly obvious as the best man for Kip Sabian's wedding that, Kip Sabian going to get beat up real bad. Like, like Kip Sabian
no
is
wedding
not
is
gonna,
ever
not gonna have a good time.
And honestly, like, I need Joey Janela to make some sort of an appearance in a scene as Penelope Ford's ex. Like, I need
is
that
that
to
shoot
happen.
or real? How does that work in real life? Because they
hang on, time out. Yeah, like, you need to rewind that and fill some of us in.
No, they were actually shoot together, right? Penelope Ford and
they were shoot together.
Yeah,
like, shoot. Joey Janela and Penelope Ford were shoot together for several years.
Mm-hmm.
They were even, dude, when they announced AEW, they announced them together. Yep. They announced them as Joey Janela and Penelope Ford.
Yeah,
like,
you know how they always do the poster of, like, so and so is all elite. It was the two of them, Joey Janela and Penelope Ford. All elite.
Shit.
Yep. And so he was the bad boy and she was the bad girl.
Bad girl.
Yep.
So, like, they were shoot together. Wow. And, like, legit within less than a year, they went from being together to now she's engaged to
Kip Sabian. He is a handsome British man. Us British men do have that,
That's some wild shit, though, man.
Yeah. Dude, wrestling. Fucking wrestling.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But still, like, that's wild.
Yeah. So I need something like that.
Is that is that Miro's first feud with Kip Sabian? Do they just do that? Like, is that, like, that kind of makes sense? Like, they'll have a couple decent matches and it's kind of like a warm up into the whole system and everything. Like, it feels like Kip's been there long enough that he's a good steady hand for Rusev to destroy, Miro to destroy.
I don't know. I think it's hard to.
He's not high profile enough.
I don't think it's that it's high profile enough. It's just like, you don't necessarily need to. If that was how you were going to introduce him, you could have introduced him any other number of ways other than having him be the best man.
I like it, though. I like the best man gimmick.
I don't dislike it. We'll see where they go with it.
Sure.
Because as of right now, like a lot of things with AEW, it's a t-shirt first, and then the gimmick either fleshes out or doesn't.
Yeah, the t-shirt either sells and they do the gimmick.
Then the gimmick continues.
Or.
And so this is why what I want to ask, because I probably, like, I watch AEW, but I probably watch equally amount as much WWE. What do you guys think in this regard? Do you think that AEW is booking themselves with too much talent, that some of it is going to get wasted and we are going to see the fans, ourselves included, lobbing the same complaints that we lob at WWE at AEW? Like, this guy isn't getting enough TV time.
They're running the risk. They're really running the risk.
I know that there's a new TV show that will be coming out.
I think that's important.
I know they have Dark. Yes, it is very important. But until that happens, it's a real fine line they got to walk between underexposure.
I'll tell you, I think that you're 100% right, and I think they are at the risk of doing that, and I think they're very, very close. But I also think that they were put in a very interesting, as we all were in life, a very interesting spot. That they were doing very, very well as WWE weren't and releasing all this talent. So therefore, they took the opportunity at an opportune time to sign some people that might be able to carry them through, and you make them also look like the good guy in the press, as like, hey, like, we're not firing people, we're bringing in goddamn MIRO and Zack Ryder or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, I think there's less of, like, nobody outside of wrestling fans cares about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well,
but they're also securing some people that they might have never had the chance to get, and now they're like, strike while the iron's hot. Let's take some of these people.
I agree.
You know, like, it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I would. The unfortunate thing is that they're using too many. We need our first AEW born champion, or indie champion that's AEW like kind of exclusive in the majors, if you want to call it that. That has to happen sooner rather than later. That's why I kind of thought it was going to happen with MJF. It feels to me like if they were now, for instance, to have Rusev win the AEW, championship, all three,
it's another
it's
WWE.
another one. And that's my biggest problem with that. Brody Lee is obviously one with the TNT championship. So we haven't even had a champion yet. I guess we have with SCU in the tag team division, and Kenny and Hangman, and
the
what
tag
have
titles,
you.
yeah.
Tag
Like
titles is different, but we're
But
about
even
to.
even
But now we
now-
just put the belts on the Revival, so it backs, or FTR, which is Fear the Revelation, I guess now. Like, that's, I guess they do
Whatever.
have.
Deuce, what do you want to say?
Yeah, to answer your question, Duncan, here's what I think. Like, TNT has already paid for this second show, and the only reason they're not like, dude, where's our show, is because they're like, Tony, we know you're dealing with COVID, and all this stuff, so like, we're not going to make you like drop it, but like, dude, we've already kind of paid for this, so we kind of need it. So I think they're trying to stack the deck, because like, TNT is chomping at the bit for this show, and if I were a betting man, it's going to be within probably the next 3 to 6 months, because the NBA finals are almost over, and when the NBA is over, TNT's fucked, because all they show is like
Law and Order.
supernatural
Shitty
runs, Law and
movies
Order
from 5
movies.
years ago, and
So it's like they don't have really much original programming. So it's like, dude, we need this, because like, I don't know how much basketball you guys watch, but they've actually had
None.
the wrestlers on basketball. Like Jurassic Express were at basketball, like on the virtual, and it showed them, and it said Jurassic Express, and it had Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus in the virtual
And
fan feed.
AEW, I've seen some of
Yeah.
that stuff.
I didn't
yeah.
know that. No, I didn't know that at all. That's interesting.
Yeah, so,
Thank you
I
for
mean,
that.
they've been plugging it like crazy during basketball, but I know TNT is like, Tony, we're trying to work with you because we know it's COVID, and we get it, but like, we paid for this, and like, we need it.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna need a show soon. We gotta.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's another thing that's happened this week that's really interesting with AEW. Tuesday night, after the NBA basketball, they're doing AEW late night.
Yep.
And it's actually 3 matches, and I think it starts like at midnight. Like, it's late. I know it's after 11, but I think it's even after midnight, because I went to set to tape it and tape the show after in case basketball runs late.
And it was in the guide as like 1
Yeah.
o'clock or midnight or something.
Yeah, like I
Like,
think it started at
rolled
midnight.
over into the next day.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tape the show afterwards.
Do you think that's
in case
just
it rolls
dark?
over.
Do you think that's basically just dark, like a
No,
mini
because
episode?
The matches
or-
they said it was gonna be were all new matches, and they were like Jericho's in one of them. Like it was big names. So I kind of think maybe they're testing the waters. Like, what if we did like a really late night show, like a midnight or something? Like, would the audience show up at that late a time slot during Monday through Friday?
Well, they'll probably show up more than what they would usually be programming. Like if it was 11 o'clock, I think they might have a
Yeah.
better chance of it. 12 and 1 are too late for most viewers. But I think if
I
you
think
had a
11
1
o'clock is
hour,
too late. Yeah.
I think if you had a 1 hour, 11 o'clock show, what else are they playing except for the last hour of the movie that they were just showing? So,
Right.
like, there's a good chance that they could garner, like, a decent audience on a random night like that. But that, to me, does not solve the woes of the need for more, I think, AEW programming.
I think it needs to be more than an hour. Like, I think you'd almost have to have...
I think it needs to be a 2-hour show.
I think you're right.
If I was being the executive, I would say I want it either on Saturday night or Sunday night, and preferably Saturday, just because, like, you know, people are at home now. They're not going out as much. Maybe do it from like 8 to 10, so it's prime time on Saturday.
And you can compete with takeovers there.
Well, takeover you have to compete with, and their own pay-per-views.
Right, but if you only say did it like three times a month or something, but you are right. There are the takeovers and there are their own pay-per-views. But if you did it Sunday night, you wouldn't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about WWE,
which
pay-per-views.
That honestly, that's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I've also heard that NXT probably won't be going to Tuesdays. Not only just because Vince doesn't want to lose the war and all this stuff. It sounds like it's more, it goes deeper business-wise than that. USA wants them to be on Wednesdays. To compete with TBS or TNT.
Yeah.
It's the same company, by the way. TBS is fucking TNT. They're owned by the same shit. They can fucking, all the same.
Easy.
but like it sounds like it's a little bit more out of it's the contract that WWE signed with the USA and NBC. Like this is the slot. Like you have to this is your like
you have to fill this slot.
I don't think it would be easy for the WWE just to be like, you know what, we're gonna change the days. Like it doesn't work like that. Like it's a little more involved, I would imagine.
Those decisions are like it may seem like they just announced that they were gonna move SmackDown to Fridays, but in reality
that was probably a year in the making or something.
For sure. Well, they first announced it like a year before. They're just like, well, Fox, we're going to be going to Fox when our contract is up. And so I don't know. I think Sunday is a good night. I could see Sunday.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all.
I don't mind that either. I want to see, am I supposed to care about Dark or not?
See,
I think you should, and I did in the beginning, but I've fallen off. I do not watch every episode of Dark.
Normally we're doing the show when like Dark's we could watch an hour of it, but
it's all available for free for me at any time of the week after that to watch. So what I was surprised with, do you remember this, Duce? I don't know if you remember this. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of a pop-up on very early on when Dark first started, and it was just a few weeks after Dynamite started. I want to say that Dark started. And they actually aired Dark for 2 weeks, I want to say it was, at random-ass times on True TV, which is a TNT affiliate, a Turner affiliate, I suppose. And they aired Dark on True TV. Maybe it's just like a test, just to see how it would work. But something like that could work. I mentioned TBS earlier.
Like TBS has got nothing on except for like Big Bang Theory reruns and shit.
And fucking
baseball, right?
Like Montel or something. I don't know.
Rarely baseball. Like not as much as they used to, because it used to be the home of the Braves, but not anymore.
Okay.
So,
but that would be a good utilization of their network and spreading it out and kind of like, because you get new fans in there as well.
Well,
the fucking thing is like, no, and the thing is like Turner owns Cartoon Network. Do a crossover with Adult Swim.
They did that already with Best Friends with Rick and Morty.
Oh, did
what?
They?
Yeah. They
did.
I wouldn't.
I've never seen not Rick and Morty.
They weren't on Rick and Morty, but they did. You remember Best Friends came out with like the Rick and Morty mask on, and the ring post had Rick and Morty on them.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's why they did that. Okay, all right.
Because they were promoting the new season of Rick and Morty on Dynamite.
Yep.
Now,
okay, you're right. I remember that. But were the Best Friends on Rick and Morty as well?
No.
Right.
No, it didn't go the other way around. It went from
just that way.
That way, not reverse. But I'm not gonna lie. I think if Cartoon Network's smart, they'd have a couple of the pro wrestlers.
Give me an Orange Cassidy cartoon. Give me a Best Friends and Orange Cassidy living in an apartment. Like what do they do in their off time? Make me a
I mean,
BTE
honestly-
type of cartoon.
Well, they have a couple of animators that like do stuff for them, right? Like the girl that does the animation at the end of BTE is just a fan that was started doing it, and now I think they pay her to do it.
Right. I actually didn't know any of that.
Yeah. So dude, I don't know. Like, I didn't know about the Rick and Morty thing. Like, I remember seeing a couple of pictures of it. But
I remember it. Now, was it Fighter Fest or it was?
No. It was like just a random ass week
of Dynamite.
Dynamite.
And they had it on the ring post, and they came out because I remember it was Morty and Rick actually did announce them. It's like, and coming to the ring, it's still the best friend.
So if
And then
you're
Morty-
fans of the show, you would have completely gotten the
you
reference.
totally gotten it.
Right.
And they
It
even
just-
like the little intro video they spliced in.
Did like
scenes
Rick and
from
Morty
Morty's-
animation.
yeah, into it. But it was like a one-off to promote it, and it's the same thing with like HBO Max because Time Warner and TNT, TBS, AT&T, all that are owned by the same
AOL,
company.
Time Warner.
Right.
So that's why they had like for a while there they had HBO Max was on the ring post and stuff because they were promoting HBO Max. So I mean, and that's the other thing too. You got the streaming service now, HBO Max, which is owned by your company. Why the fuck don't you just put AEW on there? So
Put
you
your
can stream it?
pay-per-views on
Yeah.
there. So
Well, I don't know about pay-per-views. That might be different, but your weekly show.
Yeah, your weekly
Yeah.
show. Their pay-per-views are not going to give up the money on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had something that like was a $20 in America service that like say you had to pay $10 a month for whatever HBO Max.
Yeah, but now you're like Disney can't even get their shit together with like
Yeah.
having a $30 add-on through Disney Plus.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I think it's a lot harder than it should be. Like it should just be. as
You
easy as
understand my
going to
logic, but yes, you're probably
do,
it's more
yeah.
difficult and more involved than
And
that.
I think
get
it's sort of
it.
like the whole moving nights thing.
Yeah.
And seeing like
Just
I-
get a
I-
VPN and buy it through the UK, and you're fine.
Sure.
That's all you do.
I wish that like I wish that was one of the shows on Adult Swim that I would be excited about a crossover with, because as soon as I see Rick and Morty, I turn that shit.
It just I don't know. It never caught me. Yeah, I don't know what it
never
is.
did. It never did for me either.
I
and
haven't
that's
given it
why
a huge chance, but
I've watched a solid 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's not for me.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? And and that's okay.
Would
But
you be
what I
stoked
think-
if they brought back Aqua Teens and Aqua Teen Hunger Force had a crossover with?
Obviously, I would.
But
Are
I
you
think
kidding?
that's a Adult Swim thing. It's like those
Yeah.
shows are so hit or miss. Like some like Squidbillies. I fucking love Squidbillies.
Squidbillies
But
is
some people
funny.
are like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And same
It
thing
is
with like other shows.
legitimately 50-50 on every show.
Every
on Adult
show.
Swim.
Well,
Exactly.
we
Metalocalypse,
know why you
yeah.
like it. You're from Polk County. Squidbillies
Yeah, you
is
are
Polk County.
Squidbillies.
So you are
I am
Squidbillies.
Squidbillies,
So
yeah.
your friends that what you can find the humor in it because you're a smarter guy from Polk County. But a lot of your friends that don't like it just are like, well, this is like my regular life, and then they don't understand that it's supposed
And
to be funny.
meanwhile, my show was Metalocalypse.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've been in metal bands and around that scene my entire fucking
No,
life, so
you
it's
don't
just
look like that type of
I know.
guy.
I know it's tough to figure out by just looking at me in 4.1 milliseconds and just being like, I bet I can figure you out, and you're probably right.
I bet you like metal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's once again, like that's if you don't like metal, some people think that's the dumbest show on the planet. So
Yeah.
like I think you would have to use your variety of superstars and like have them just do the quick little introductions, like the 15-second intros before the shows start.
Do the
Right?
bumpers, yeah.
That's
Exactly. Like,
perfect.
why are they not doing the bumpers? Like, hey, we're best friends and we love Rick and Morty. By the way, watch Dynamite on Wednesday, and then
Exactly.
do like a elbow drop on somebody or something.
Or just like
something,
hands
yeah.
in the pockets, man.
Yeah.
Like, by the
Yeah.
way, I hate Cornette. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't hate Cornette, but yeah,
Really?
we hate Cornette to a degree. And
I fucking hate Cornette. Cornette
yeah,
can choke on it.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, I love old Cornette. I just can't stand what
new Cornette, new gimmick. I'm working everybody Cornette. Yeah.
That's
I'm working the gimmick Cornette. Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, he worked himself into a shoot, brother.
I do. He did. Yeah, I love that. I did find it interesting because I saw a clip and I'm like, okay, I want to see how mad he is about something or whatever, you know.
Probably the parking lot brawl.
It was actually like a week ago. It was before that, but we do need to talk about it.
For sure.
The mimosa.
Yeah, it was the mimosa match. It was the so I had to listen to his shit about it, and I'm laughing because I'm like, dude, you just don't get it, do you? Like.
I think he does get it, and he's just he knows that he's the old man yelling at the cloud now, and he just knows that people are, dude, because people do it. You do it, I do it, we all do it. Something happens in wrestling. What did fucking Cornette say?
Yeah.
Exactly. He's working the gimmick, guys. He's working us.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not him. Like he doesn't really think that shit. He just wants us to listen to his shows so he can get the listens and he can get the money.
Duce, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's a fucking Kazarni, bro. Like, come on.
Thank you. I was just fucking gonna say it. Like, it is pure carny bullshit.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's, dude. Like, it's as gimmicked as the tennis racket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
he understands the business and he understands how to manipulate it.
Better than all of us. Better than all of us, and better than all of us will. Like, I will give Cornette credit for that because it's just like, oh, you're like, fuck, he understands how to be a heel.
Yep.
Because you know what heels do? Shit on everything that people like.
Yep. This is 100% true. And one of the things that I did like from him, though, was like he came up with a couple of nicknames that I'm a fan. I'm just a fan of a good nickname. And he was referring to the Sturgis situation with Jericho and COVID, and he called him Jericovid, which I think is great.
Jericho needs to start selling those tees on wrestling tees.
How do we not have a Y2 a Jericovid shirt? Like,
and give the proceed to COVID research. Yeah, like you did with the other Jericho shirt.
Yeah, I popped Duncan. That's how you know it's good. It popped Duncan just now.
Yeah.
All right. I hadn't heard that one. Motherfucker. That popped me hard. I'm not even gonna lie. That is that's so good because
it really is.
But when he does dumb shit, right? Like, I'm just like, bro, stop it.
Sturgis, really? Sturgis?
This is my thing with Jericho. It's just like, we know where you stand on shit. So don't push it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you say the wrong fucking thing, right? Like even Jericho can't get away with everything.
Yeah.
At some point, Jericho will say the wrong dumb thing. Like, he almost got his ass canceled for the All Lives Matter tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're just like, that's strike. I don't know how many, Jericho, but we love you, so we're going to give you at least one more.
Yeah.
So, like, he walks that fine line, too.
He does. Let's lighten it up, and it's not as good. But
is it gonna pop me as hard?
But no, it won't. But I do love the fact that, of course, Cornette hates Orange Cassidy. Just the mere sight of him makes him repulsed, and he's never going to like the idea of his gimmick. So he won't call him now, apparently, by his name. He only refers to him as Pockets. Which I think...
great. I actually know somebody whose nickname is Pockets. That's fantastic.
Pockets is a funny name. And I like, if I'm Orange Cassidy and you want to call me Pockets, I'm like, cool, yeah, whatever. Everybody still knows who I am, so it's fine.
This is how much of a fuck Orange gives.
Unless you're Sue and she gives that many fucks.
That many.
Sue is awesome.
Let's talk about that match. Let's talk about the match.
I was gonna say I don't have TNT, so watching Dynamite is like I usually catch in clips, but I made sure I went out of my way to right before the show watch the parking lot match between Best Friends and Proud and Powerful, and you know what? Bravo to all of those fucking guys.
All five, you know, if you
all five.
Well,
yeah, we give Orange credit for hanging out in the trunk. I'd actually give more credit to Sue than Orange.
All six then. All six.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There was a lot of great things in this match, and
so good.
I loved how Santana and Ortiz finally looked like a real threat. They looked.
They came out with the dead president's
makeup
on.
The makeup was cool as fuck. Like
Dude, that's a deep cut. If you don't know that movie, you don't know.
I know that movie.
You know what I mean?
I know that movie. Yeah, but a lot of younger fans won't know that. A lot of
younger fans are not going to understand that movie. But and that's the second time they've done that paint before. Did it.
Really? I've never seen it before personally, but
so they did it. They haven't done it in AEW, but they did it in Impact, and it was Ortiz and Santana and Diamante, who won the women's cup or whatever.
Ivelisse.
Yeah. And there was another one of the LAX and Conan. So they were like that tweet has been going around from the first time that they did the Dead Preds makeup, and it does make them look menacing, and I like that. Like I think that put a good wrap up on that feud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you can really have Proud and Powerful. I think you need to split up the Inner Circle.
I think it's inevitable. I think it will happen in the sooner rather than later, in my opinion.
Yeah. But even if you don't fully split the Inner Circle, Proud and Powerful need to leave on their own, and they need to start. Like,
they can honestly probably even do it amicably. Like there's probably like a weird
that doesn't need to be dramatic.
Yeah, we just kind of like separate those like Proud and Powerful from.
We're gonna go do our thing for a minute. We need to find who we are.
100%. Yeah, that would work. That would work just fine. Just fine for me.
Now, if they do that, do you want them to like join up with the other LAX members that are there, or do you want them to be by themselves?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's. I want them to eventually, and I think that could be amazing, but not
me too.
Fucking yet. And we'll get to Eddie Kingston in just a second.
It needs to be a slow burn, right? Like, set up Proud and Powerful to feud with either. This is how I would do it. Set them up to feud with Butcher and Blade first.
Yep.
Okay.
Leading directly into a feud with Lucha Brothers.
Okay.
Have a couple of matches, a series with them. Okay. Before Kingston turns
on the Lucha Brothers
and joins with Proud and Powerful, and now and Diamante, and
that's
you
great. That's
and
great.
you can have, and that's the stable that Kingston is looking to build.
Well,
more than so.
Dope as fuck.
I would like to see it eventually, but I think that you can slow burn that, and plus, I don't care. Give me Proud and Powerful versus the Lucha Brothers all day, every day, forever. Because those guys are fucking dynamite in the ring. It is unbelievable how good they actually are.
No, and I don't disagree with that at all. My only question is, to use your theory of this slow burn, while they're doing this slow burn, could you put Ivelisse and Diamante with them and have the four of them together while they're going through these other tag teams, or would that be just too much?
Yeah, I think you could make that work.
I think you could. You could do a Boricua stable if you really wanted to. Like, you could definitely do like a Puerto Rican pride thing. Not necessarily call it that or whatever, but
it would all just be Proud and Powerful. Honestly, just call it.
Have them do it's the old school LAX, just under a different name.
Yeah.
So without Homicide and Hernandez, but like I think that it definitely has possibility. And fuck, like the Dark Order the only stable that has a female in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to call the Natural Nightmares a stable, then technically no.
Yeah, because they got the Nightmare Sisters, and that's all the Nightmare family. So yeah, I would call that a stable. Yeah. So I would give you that one. But besides that one, you're right. There is no other women in other stables. That's why hopefully when MJF makes this new stable, I hope he includes a woman in it. But to be honest, I would rather MJF just, if Proud and Powerful are going out,
MJF doesn't need a stable. I don't want MJF with a stable. I don't think they need that. I don't think he needs that.
Okay.
I think it's a silly move. I can see them moving in that direction, but I don't want it. I think we also are running the risk with AEW of having too many goddamn stables.
Yes and no, because how many stables do you really have, right?
Dark Order, the Elite.
Not really.
Not the Elite is
anymore. The Elite still. I mean, Kenny and the Bucks are still there.
I think that it's the Elite is
Elite's pretty much done. Yeah. All right, so we'll take them off the list. But you do have the Nightmare family. I would call them a stable. We've got they haven't named it yet, but whatever Eddie Kingston is managing with Butcher Blade.
Sure, I'll call that. You can definitely call that a stable. But like Jurassic Express is 3 people. Does that count as a stable? Do
Close.
Best Friends count as a stable?
Yeah, and I guess that's where I fall into that trap. Is like, what do you? Yeah, like maybe I'm considering them stables, and when in reality that's just like a Freebird thing, or like a tag team with a manager, or
Like
no, you're right. You're right.
And that's where I get like the triple team, the trifectas sort of always are a little bit interesting when it comes to
the New Day effect, essentially.
It's like
we would call the New Day a stable, but we would call the New Day a stable, wouldn't we?
I would call the New Day the New Day. Like I wouldn't even like that's.
Nah, you might be right.
I think that New Day has sort of transcended. The new dude, it's like when Demolition brought in Crush, right? Like, it's just like there's still a tag team, but there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. There's probably less than I'm thinking in my head, but because of these like alliances that have developed with certain people like over time, and maybe it's just 3 people, I feel like there's more stables in AEW, and I feel like that can also get confusing to viewers over time, because then you start confusing like, well, who's feuding with who, and who's, like it makes it a little bit more difficult, and it makes me feel like there's a lot more stables, even though there aren't.
Right, but let's also think the owner, Tony Khan, is kind of around our age, and he grew up on that late 90s, early 2000 wrestling, the Attitude Era. And what was the Attitude Era full of? Stables. So I think that because of that, we're going to see a lot of stables in the future, especially if they're doing 2 shows.
And I'm okay with it. I'm definitely okay with it. I hope that they push through with more of what we were talking about earlier, like the possibility of having like, because there's different shows, not limiting them all to one show. I love like. It's kind of the NWO thing. They can pop up anywhere. Like it's like that to me is more exciting, having something that can be like I can have if it was WWE, like having a guy on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, having like the ability to then like have other people show up, because you never know who might.
Yeah.
Well, I think if they do a second show, it'll definitely be like all one roster. It won't be like a brand split, so like everybody can be on every show. Good. Same thing like AEW Dark. Like main roster guys are on AEW Dark all the time, and they continue storylines on AEW Dark. And so, I mean, I watch AEW Dark every week.
I need to start probably picking that back up again. It's been a few.
To be honest, it's worth it, at least to me, because there's a
lot
of like
hour or 2 hours. Are they doing 2 hours?
It's like an hour and a half. Okay. Like it starts at 7, and usually it ends somewhere between 8:10, 8:30. So it's a little over an hour. Plus, it's your best place to see AEW's worst wrestler, Brandon Cutler, because he's on every fucking week. So
do you not like him for real?
I don't like the cut of his jib, man. I don't know what it is. Like, and when he did the sob story when he first got his contract, I'm like,
I cried when I watched that video.
Like when I watched that, I liked the guy, and I'm like, oh man, I want to root for this guy. And like, I like Dungeons and Dragons. I like all the shit he's into.
He should be your dude, but
he should be my dude. But I can't stand the motherfucker.
It's the same. Did you feel about Cutler the way I feel about Punk? Because Punk should be my guy.
Yeah.
And he is just not my guy.
Not.
And I think it's because I feel like he's holding my girl Leva Bates down, and that's where I'm like,
okay,
fuck that motherfucker. So, because like Leva Bates should be doing way more, and I think it's between him and the putz with the mustache that are like holding her back.
First of all,
don't dust that putz with the mustache.
You are so wrong about Peter Avalon.
Peter Avalon.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong.
He rules. He rules.
Peter Avalon
I hope so.
Fantastic, but like the librarian gimmick is just like it doesn't work. And their failed stable that they get shot at, gave a shot for 2 weeks. The T-shirt didn't sell.
No.
And then they split that up. So it's just like, okay, I get it. Like I don't mind Cutler, but. Yeah, dude, they needed to really like.
He doesn't do a lot for me. He doesn't do that.
I like him in this. Yeah, like I don't hate him.
No,
but it's just like
he's meh.
Dude, I want Peter Avalon. I want Ray Rosas to be Peter Avalon's tag team partner again because it was his tag team partner on the Indies and they were so good.
I actually saw one of those matches last week. Weirdly, Weirdly enough,
was it Kikutaro and Curryman versus Peter Avalon? And
I guess how I found it.
Yeah, I do know exactly how you found it.
Curryman.
I think once Peter Avalon gets away from Brandon Cutler, I'll probably like him a lot more.
Yeah.
And especially once Leva Bates starts doing more, and I feel like he's not holding her back, then I'll probably give him a lot more a chance.
How long until one of them does a burning books gimmick and turns like on a burning books?
I don't think you could do that ever. I think that's canceled. I
think that should be canceled.
Yeah,
I think the last time that was acceptable.
Sorry, in Cornet Wrestling Federation, that's allowed. So you just
maybe
the last time that was acceptable.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when they had to go to fucking Germany to Berlin to get Sean Connery's fucking diary.
Yeah.
And then he got it signed by Hitler.
While they no, I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, look you go.
Hey, look, I'm just saying that's the last time we were allowed to burn books.
So
on film,
we were just talking about Eddie Kingston and his possible new stable, which seems like it is like an alliance if it's not a stable, but they whatever they want to call it. But I've been listening to a few interviews. Me and Duncan are open about this. I love me some Eddie Kingston. Like
I'm in.
So
I would like to sign up to your fan club, and I would like your newsletter.
He's been
I love
killing
that guy.
it.
It's called the Oh No Wrestling Podcast.
Right.
Oh, I listen every week. So yeah, I'm already in. So
it's an open love letter to Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet that at him, and it's gonna embarrass the shit out of us.
Here's one of the most interesting things. I look at him, and I've seen a lot of interviews. I've seen a lot of promos now. I've been also watching his work. I'm like, I'll be honest. I did not know Eddie Kingston before he debuted in AEW. I had heard of the name. I had never seen a goddamn match. So I started digging, and I found, quite a lot of interesting stuff. He ain't the best worker in the world. Fucking admit that. But what he is he can tell a story in the ring like no other. And he is cutting some of the best promos and doing some of the best interviews that I've ever heard. And it's because he's real. Yeah. That alone is why I like Eddie Kingston. He comes across as like, I would probably not want to hang with this dude or be scared of this dude if he was next to me at the bar. But
I was like, I would love to hang out with this dude.
I was about to say, I'd buy that guy a drink at the bar.
I'm
just
saying I'd be intimidated by him. Like
I've watched this dude whoop somebody's ass at the bar before. Like I have.
I'm just saying. Before I knew him, if he were next to me at the bar, I'd be intimidated by him. I can just tell like the type of
He
person.
looks like somebody that I used to buy actual drugs from.
He's somebody that I wouldn't want to meet in a back alley somewhere because you
don't want to be on the wrong side.
No.
A dude like that, because you know what Eddie Kingston does not like. Eddie Kingston, when I watch him, nothing about him says I can't fuck you up,
because he will if he needs to. Yes,
right. He's got that. He has that sort of like. I don't think there's many stories about it, but he has that kind of like Haku vibe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, where I'm just like, you would definitely fucking stab me if
break a beer bottle on the bar and fucking shank me with something. Yeah. I feel
also his comedic timing
is great.
He's so good. Like, dude, the fucking I saw this gif of the Young Bucks, and they're doing an interview, and Eddie Kingston just kind of walks into frame and stops right in between.
It was the last BTE. He did the same fucking thing.
Dude.
Yeah.
He looks around and he's just, like,
he did the John Travolta gif. He almost did the
Yep.
Where am I? He's fantastic, and but what the reason I wanted to bring him up specifically in this case is that I was saying I've seen a lot of interviews with him, and the last few interviews I've seen with him, in almost every single one, he mentions Chris Hero, who I told you we were going to talk about at the beginning of the show, or Cassius Ohno for the WWE fans. And in every single one of them, he mentions Chris Hero being a real piece of shit, and he's not quiet about it. He's like, nah, fuck that guy.
No,
that guy's a piece of shit. That guy's a scumbag. Fuck that dude.
To shoot.
Yeah.
I'm like, the funny thing, I'm like, he's not though.
I did some digging. And I found some stuff on Reddit. Because other people have, I don't know how
which
true
one
this
of them,
is.
Which one of them's a member of the alt-right? That's what I want to know. That's what this comes down to.
No, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
It's
different Reddit hole.
It's more or less that Eddie Kingston used to work at a place and was like training with Chris Hero. Not that he was his trainer. They were both, I think, trainers, and they were both working on the indies, and they actually lived together. There was like 3 or 4 wrestlers. I think Cesaro was actually
one of them. Yeah,
at a certain point. And it's just like in Philadelphia or something. I forget what promotion, but the most important thing that I think I found out is that Chris Hero or Cassius Ohno was supposedly, allegedly, and this is according to Reddit. I don't know that this is
allegedly.
It's a very allegedly that Chris Hero was like fucking all the other people's wives, and there's a certain story about him with a trainee that he was training who was married, female, and he apparently
I have to reserve the right to not say anything.
I've
never fucked a married woman before. This is before I was married to my lovely wife, who I adore.
Sure.
But dude, sorry. Sometimes you just lay the pipe. It's not a fucking.
I think it's more the using the influence thing than it is the infidelity. Infidelity happens in day-to-day life. It's just a thing that you're either that way inclined. Or
I guess it's a question of. But I guess it's a question of if he was using, like, how are you using? Are you like what
right.
Reddit's saying that he was fucking other people's wives to get the other wrestler over? Like,
or those people were married and female wrestlers training with him that he could maybe try and elevate.
Okay.
That's what the like reading between the lines. There's a lot of it. Like, that's what I read with it. Again,
but it's reading between the lines.
No, I mean, it's pretty much what it said. it's all allegedly. I do not want to, I like, fucking a world of fake news. Trust me. It's goddamn wrestling. I don't want to bury fucking Chris Hero. I like the guy. I've never met him, but I like his work, and I respect the dude. I hope it's not true, but when a guy like Eddie Kingston is consistently saying on every interview that I watch, like there's seriously 3 or 4 of them now, that this dude's a piece of shit. Well, I gotta kind of, I don't know. I kind of side. Why would he be saying it when Eddie Kingston is such a real dude? That's what I'm posing.
Because it's the wrestling business and everything's a work. I don't know. I have met Chris Hero.
Chris Hero, AEW confirmed.
Yes, obviously. I have met Chris Hero. I think that he's like he was a nice enough guy to me. Like he also was one of those guys that I was wearing a Candice LeRae shirt, so he was just like he thought that I was there with somebody from NXT. He didn't realize that he was at my workplace. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not. I haven't heard in all of the other allegations that came out over the last, however many months ago it was. I don't remember Chris Hero ever being brought up during that. Doesn't mean it's not true. I also don't, you know what I mean? Like, dude,
it might just be beef between 2 dudes that like.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. Sometimes there's just like, dude.
Maybe they were both trying to bang the same chick, and Chris Hero got to him before, or got to her before Eddie Kingston. Who knows,
man?
Who knows?
That's a real possibility.
Who knows? Yeah.
And it's wrestling.
I do find
Plenty of people are scumbags that you don't think are scumbags, and aren't scumbags that you would think are scumbags, and it's just like, the real world is faker than wrestling. So
I just found it interesting that he keeps bringing it up. Like there's some agenda there, like whether or not it's just to say fuck you, Chris Hero, or to maybe set something up for the future. Like there's something.
I would love to see Chris Hero versus Eddie Kingston.
What a good long work it would be if they could do something like that. Like that would be cool.
Dude, I don't know. And also, like, I have just stopped trying to figure out if a wrestler is trying to work me, if they're trying to go into business for themselves on social media or in an interview.
Just let it play out, basically.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's so, because there's been so many times where I've been so certain that something was going to happen, and then the complete opposite happened, or it never materialized into anything at all. And I'm like, well,
just enjoy it for what it is, and that's one of the best things about wrestling, is that you can just do that. I think that's important.
And this is just me to interject real quickly.
Please.
Like, I have a very, very steady diet of like wrestling podcasts. I listen to shit. I probably listen to 15 to 20 hours of wrestling podcast a week, easy.
Wow.
So with all that shit I'm ingesting, I just have gotten to a point where I just take it all with a grain of salt and just enjoy it for what it is, and try not to read into
almost
it.
Almost the fantasy booking side of it. It's like, oh, that'd be cool if that did happen. I try and do the same.
Because if not, you start to be like that Charlie Day meme where he's like pointing at the wall with all the fucking strings pointed at pictures and shit. Because that's how, like, for a hot minute there, that's how I felt. Because I was like, oh, well, this connects to that podcast, and this connects to that podcast. So that definitely means that this thing is happening, and then it wouldn't happen. And well, what the fuck? Yeah.
And so many people, wrestling fans, because it is a very toxic fandom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can go overboard real
We
fucking
eat our
quick.
young over here. Yeah.
Bro, like, you got a crab mentality, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, everybody keeps climbing on top of each other. Nobody gets to the top. That's what we are as wrestling fans, and we should change that as wrestling fans.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think that like you say, is there's a lot of times where we have all been in Pepe Sylvia land and tried to figure out what the fuck is actually happening. And it's just like,
sometimes it's just a work, and sometimes that's all it's ever going to be. But you say you listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts besides our show, which obviously is the #1 wrestling podcast in the world. Clearly, obviously, Twitch affiliates, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I need to promote that. But we are now Twitch affiliates, so that you can now give us money. You can give us bits. You can give us donations. You can do all sorts of things on the Twitch platform. You can subscribe. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get 1 free subscription per month. So if you're already an Amazon subscriber, you can link your accounts together, and you're able to
give Owen $3.
Give me $3 every month that doesn't come out of your pocket. You don't have to spend a dime.
That's Jeff Bezos' money.
Yeah, just spend Jeff Bezos' money on me because I deserve it. I
did it today.
Yes, you did do it today. How it was fairly difficult, I'm sure, Duncan, wasn't it? It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was definitely click buttons to link accounts. It's if I can fucking figure it out. I think everybody knows how much hash I smoke. Like, come on, man. Anybody
you got to use a laptop though. You weren't.
Yes.
You got to use a laptop.
I happened to be on my laptop, and it was super easy.
Yeah,
but Duce, what I was gonna say, like,
let me get the plug out. Hang on.
Well, besides our Twitch affiliate stream, which obviously if you can find it twitch.tv/ONRS live.
Thank you.
And you can find us on YouTube, which we are not affiliated in any way on YouTube. But yes, like, go and give us your subscription because we need it.
It costs you nothing and it gives us money, especially if you're an Amazon
You're
Prime
gonna
user.
have to just walk me through it because you've said a bunch of words that mean like nothing to me. So you're gonna have to walk me through it, but I'll do everything I can to help.
If you're an Amazon Prime guy. Do you have Amazon Prime? You pay for that? Amazon Prime? Maybe? No. See? Okay.
Yeah.
If you know someone that does, or any like of your listeners, all they have to do is like basically log into their Amazon account, and then there's a way to on a computer, can't do it on a phone, and then you're able to link a Twitch account. Once you have to create a Twitch account, and then but the two link together.
Prime Gaming is what it's
Prime
called.
Gaming,
so you link your Twitch account to your Prime Gaming account. And like, seriously, when you do this on the computer,
the laptop,
laptop, it's very easy. It is very intuitive. Like, I am not a very good at computers kind of guy, and I was able to
me neither. So
very easily.
I'm gonna create like an infographic type deal that
I
walks you through the process, or a video, or like a 30-second video.
A good idea. Yeah.
Just to like, hey, click on this, then click on this, then do this, and what have you.
Especially because so many people have Amazon Prime that it's a great way. Like I said, if each person you're getting $3 from, I mean, that's brilliant. That's an easy slam dunk way to make money.
And they gotta click it still every month. They've got to but once a month they get a free one. So like, hey, as long as you know, you're consistently doing.
By the way, Duncan, that was nowhere where I thought the question you were going to ask me was going.
Well, the question was
because I interrupted.
No. Well, we went into business for ourselves.
Hey, sometimes you got to, man. Sometimes you got to go into business for yourself.
I was gonna ask you what a couple of your favorite wrestling podcasts are that might be off the beaten path, like not necessarily Talk is Jericho or any of the other bigger ones.
See, I don't.
You got any hidden gems?
Like really hidden gems, because like I do all the Conrad Thompson ones because I love those, like what happened when, like that's the only thing.
You sound like Conrad a little bit, actually.
I do, and I relate to that motherfucker a lot, and I think that's why I love all of his shows, because like I can relate to the dude.
I want Conrad's belt collection.
No shit, man. But that's why you've been, and I'm just knocking on you a little bit, just a little rib. You've been fucking up my Wednesday, kids. Because Wednesday morning, when I get up, as soon as my feet hit the floor, I turn on you guys' podcast while I'm getting ready for work and in the morning. And then once I'm done with you guys, I listen to What Happened When with Tony Schiavone and Conrad. And that's like my fucking Wednesday. So
So we've been dicking that up. So we got to.
Yeah,
get
you've
our
been
shit
dicking
together,
that up,
you
bro.
Yeah.
It's just a rib, man. It's a good
It
one,
happens.
but, like,
It happens, though.
It does. It does
It
happen.
absolutely does.
We'll say this: the Art of Wrestling podcast, Cole Cabana's back. And
Ah,
that's
man,
really
I
good.
listened to it the other night. It was good to.
Yeah.
It's good to have that back. I really enjoyed
man,
that.
So good. And
I love Cole.
Unrestricted, I like a lot, except for, and this will actually lead me into a little story you're gonna
Sure.
like, Owen.
Please.
Aubrey Edwards is kind of starting to grate on me a little bit.
Yeah, she
especially-
sucks on that podcast.
Yeah, because it's like she's going into business for herself on the podcast, and it's something me and you had a conversation about kind of off the air, Owen. But when I had the All Out party, I had two female friends that were here. One is an avid wrestling watcher. Like, she watches all the WWE programming, NXT. Not a big AEW person. Maybe he's watched a little bit, but big WWE person. And then I have one female fan that was here that pretty much just comes out when I do the pay-per-view parties just to kind of hang out with everybody. But she is digging AEW. And both of them were like ragging hard on Aubrey Edwards because they were like, dude, she's taking us out of the match. Like,
Wow.
she is way too, like, over the top. Like, she's kicking her legs out too wide and her hips out too wide. Did she go to the quote of the night? Did she go to the Disney Channel School of Acting for professional wrestler, referees, and like
Right.
really ragging on her? And I figured as females, they'd be like, oh, it's a female ref. Like, that's awesome.
You think it'd be the other way around, that they want to support
right.
her, and yeah.
And the other thing is we've got one that's like a uber wrestling fan that's like really loves wrestling, watches all of it, and then one who's like just a very just kind of dipping the toes in the water, liked it in the Attitude Era, is kind of coming back a little bit with AEW, but doesn't watch much. So you've got both ends of their spectrum, both female, and all were taking, like, excuse my French, a giant shit on her. And I was like, ooh.
I don't mind her in the ring. I don't mind. I think that she's got a unique style that I think is cool. I kind of like what they do with her on AEW.
Okay.
But I definitely get annoyed with her when she's trying to be cool and an interviewer, and like, we get it on AEW Unrestricted, you guys can curse, but she's just like,
what happened with that?
She's
like,
even a little bit just like oh fuck, like she's like, oh fucking yeah, of course we can fucking curse, like she's just trying
A little trying too hard.
It's a try hard. That's the vibe I get from her.
Okay.
It's try hard.
Yeah. I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I unfortunately am going to have to cut out here.
Okay.
And deal with some stuff. So
is everything okay?
Everything's okay. But our good brother Tommy, who's been letting me borrow his car, just texted me. So his truck is broken down, so I have to go and rescue him in his car.
That's fun.
So.
That's not fun, but best of luck with that. Well,
I don't want to leave him hanging. So
no worries, man.
I hear you. So, go ahead and end it on your end, and we'll finish up the show. We're gonna be finishing up soon.
It was good catching with you.
It was good seeing you, and I hope I can do this again soon. And I love this Friday night thing, man. I know it's not you guys' normal night, but anytime you want to do it on Friday, you let a brother know.
We'll do for sure.
We'll be back probably next Tuesday. But hey, good luck with everything, man. Love you, dude.
Yeah,
thanks,
be safe, brother. Be safe.
Always. Peace.
Yeah, it sounded like a last-minute catastrophe there.
And when he bugged out of the thing for a second, I figured something was up. And
yeah, me too.
Like I said, I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on it because, I just thought it was interesting that happened because in the ring, for me, she's hit or miss. Like, I don't not like her as a ref, but sometimes I feel like she is interjecting herself a little bit into the match.
I don't mind it, though. I think at times that it's needed because it's all what the story dictates. There's certain matches.
Right.
There's certain matches there that it's completely like overdone and unnecessary. Right. I don't think she's pushed it too far. I think she's kind of had a decent balance of it. She doesn't distract me from a match, and I fully support the idea of female referee having a name
Yeah,
and
for
being
sure.
able to wear lipstick in the ring and like all those types
And have
of
her own
things.
T-shirt, which is
Yeah.
cool. Like, because like I, except for maybe Earl Hebner, like in TNA, maybe having a T-shirt. I can't remember any ref that.
She's gonna be cool in like 2 years, like when she calms
Yeah.
the fuck down from how amazing her experience is going right now, because
Yeah.
her world has just literally changed overnight. So I can't blame her. She's in that like, you know, honeymoon twilight phase of things that realistically, I don't think your friends are wrong when they're saying some of the stuff that they're saying. I just think I give it maybe a little bit more, I don't know, leeway.
Yeah. That's cool.
But I definitely don't like her. Like, she needs to calm down, especially on like
the podcast.
The
'Cause,
podcast
and
and
you
all
made a
that.
really good point, because I think it was only within the last 2 or 3 weeks they've really kind of took the regulator off of that thing and let him curse and go
It's
crazy.
weird.
And like, she's been going like F word crazy, and I'm like, this isn't
Calm
necessary.
down.
Like,
Calm
it's
down.
like it's not adding to the show.
No.
Not that I care, because I mean, hell,
Not
a
that
lot
I
of the
do either.
podcasts
I feel
listen
like
to, but yeah,
I curse on this show, but I'm not like,
yeah,
I don't say fuck every other word, do I?
yeah.
Like, I try to, you know, at least have a decent, you know, conversation with somebody. But what I think we'll do to wrap things up for the evening is do
Sounds good, buddy.
we're gonna go rapid fire topics.
Okay.
And I'll play some music behind here. I'm going to try a new bit here. We're going to go rapid fire topics that are going to be yay or nay from you as to what you think of them. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And I'll give my thoughts as well. But I don't know what I'm calling this yet, but we'll do something with it.
I like the music. I'll give you that much.
Yeah, there you go.
The
All
chip
right.
tune, yeah.
Kurt Angle was apparently offered a chance to manage Matt Riddle. What do you think of that?
Nay.
Nay?
Nay.
Nay.
Yeah.
I could see it working, but if I were to weigh
I
it out.
love Kurt Angle. I just don't want him with Matt Riddle, because I give 2 shits about Matt Riddle.
Yeah, yeah. Ivar to get neck surgery, apparently. Sounds like the injury was worse. That's obviously a nay from both. I love Ivar. But a little time off TV, that might be decent for the Viking, whatever they're called now.
He's one of the Viking Raiders.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The big guy in the Viking Raiders, yeah.
Okay.
He has to get neck surgery after a botched
Didn't he do
suicide.
like a tope suicida or something?
Yeah, it was a botched dive, and he's got to get neck surgery now.
No
So he's,
bueno.
yeah, no bueno from both of us there.
Good luck, buddy.
What do you think? There's a new woman on Raw, or sorry, SmackDown, I believe, that they've been doing video packages for. A new sexy lady that they've been shooting from the back and not showing the face. And some eagle-eyed watchers have pointed out that, oh, wow, that's Carmella, and it has the tattoo of that Carmella has, like she's like it's the person in the video. So they matched the tattoo to apparently this new repackaging of Carmella. What do you think of that?
I'm for it. I love Carmella, so anything to bring her back, and I'm all about it.
I'm with you on a certain degree. I don't think that they needed to repackage her, if I'm being honest.
I don't think they did either. I thought she was great the way she was.
Me
but
too.
If that's what they think she needs, and it gets her back on my screen, I'm okay with it.
On the being the elite this past week, Nakazawa was revealed to being a person who squirted his famous baby lotion all over the turnbuckle, which made for Matt Seidel's botch.
Yeah.
Shoot or work? Did they do that after the fact, after he did it, or?
Oh, they did it after the fact. I can tell you
100.
exactly why he botched. Is none of these people are used to Florida humidity.
No.
As a guy that drives a truck like every day, I have to wipe my windows off like every stop almost to get like the humidity off it so I can see out of them. And these people aren't used to that, and most of them are used to working indoors, so they don't know, hey, before I jump up on here and do this flip, I probably need to rub my hand over it and get all this moisture off. So I just think it was a bad mistake on his part because he didn't know And also a bad mistake on production's part because somebody should have known.
Wipe
hey,
down
he's
the
coming in a minute.
shit
Yeah,
before
wipe down the turnbuckle before this guy runs out here. So
100%.
I think everybody fucked up. I don't think it's all on him.
No.
I feel really, really bad for him, just to be honest for you. I feel really, really bad for him.
Me too. I think he's made up for it all right because he did end up making through the match, and obviously, like, that's a funny joke to have, like, Nakazawa be putting baby oil on it. I did like that. If you haven't seen the
that was hilarious. I laughed my balls off when I saw it. So,
what do you feel? Have you heard about this story about Tessa Blanchard graphic in the new Battlegrounds game? Have you heard this story?
I have not.
Okay,
I'm excited about the new Battlegrounds game, though.
The new Battlegrounds game came out on, I think today was the official release, but maybe yesterday.
Right.
Like, a lot of people have gotten the game, of course, you know, influencers and stuff. And what they found was something interesting on one of the loading screens. So there's a very famous photograph of Tessa Blanchard in Impact Wrestling. And it's after she had won the World Championship. And she's looking there, standing dominant. Well, it seems like the WWE or the game creators, whoever they are, have used a unlicensed image from Impact Wrestling of Tessa fucking Blanchard in the game, and it's not a good look. They're gonna probably have to update it and do a patch or what have you. Do you think that this is an Easter egg to get people to think that Tessa is coming to WWE, or do you think it's just a complete accident?
I would say probably more complete accident, just because there's a lot of people that work on those games that aren't wrestling fans, so they might have just found the image and be like, oh, that's cool, and not known that it was, you know, her. So I would say there's a lot more chance it's an accident than an Easter egg.
Did you know that Crazy Steve of Impact fame is blind?
I don't know who Crazy Steve is, so...
You never heard of Crazy Steve?
I can't say that I've heard of Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve is apparently blind. He worked in Impact for a long time. And he can't legally drive. He can only see, like, blurs and shapes. But as a wrestler, he's crazy, dude. Yeah, he's Crazy Steve. He's a high flyer. He does hardcore shit. This guy is taking risks, and he can't even see him. It was something that was, released over the past couple of weeks that I thought you'd find interesting.
I wonder if you could bump better if you couldn't see, because, like, think about it, like, when you're landing and you're hitting stuff, you're, like, bracing for impact. But if you didn't know it was coming, you'd be loosey-goosey, and you might, you might bounce off of it and bump better because you don't know it's coming, so you're not, like, tensing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it actually does kind of make sense, but I wouldn't want to be that guy. I know I'm going to get a thumbs up from you on this piece of news. Jericho has filed for a trademark for Clint Bobski, his character in Southpaw Regional Wrestling, and the Million Viewer Man. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some Clint Bobski coming up soon, and that actually comes after he has just talked with Gallows and Anderson over on Talk is Jericho, and I don't know if you've heard that podcast, but
I have. But and here's the thing I wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he is trademarking it because in November is going to be Talking Shop of Mania 2.
Yep.
And I wonder if he's trying to get all of his ducks in a row so he can show up as Clint Bobski and not worry about the WWE suing him.
I think that's exactly what he's trying to do because, like you said, Talking Shop of Mania 2 announced for November 13th with a ball.
Is that the date?
November 13th with
I'm writing that down.
a ball for a ball match. Instead of an eye for an eye match, we're getting a ball for a ball match. The rematch.
I love it. I can't wait.
Between Sex and Chad.
Was so good. I've showed that pay-per-view to so many people. Even people that aren't wrestling fans.
Me too.
I'm like, just watch it. Like, have a beer, watch it. And they're like, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
The last, I think, piece of news I'll run by you and just to see what you think about this. Actually, two more.
Okay.
Wade Barrett returning to NXT on commentary.
I dig it.
I'm super for it. Do you think he gets back in the ring at any point in a WWE
Oh,
ring?
hell yeah. I think this might even be just like a layover. Like, hey, let's have you do this for 6 months and then have you go back in ring or maybe start a new Nexus stable.
What the fuck? We
Yeah.
just wrote who should be the leader of Retribution.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's actually genius.
Yeah, like have Wade Barrett be the leader of Retribution.
That
When
would
they
work,
signed him,
dude.
I was like, that's why they signed him. They signed him as an announcer to be the leader of Retribution to like swerve us all. Because if they sign him and don't say what they signed him for, everybody's gonna think it's the leader of Retribution.
Yeah, that's actually kind of genius if they pull that off.
You heard it here first, kids.
Yeah, man, I wish you could trademark ideas.
You kind of can.
The last one that I'll have for you this week is that apparently Trish Stratus. Oh, good old Trish Stratus. She helped me through some of my earlier years as growing up a man. She's apparently said that she's kind of interested in one more match. And who do you think that match would be against Kyle? Or Duce, sorry.
I would want it to be Trish versus Lita, but I don't know if Lita can go in ring still. I mean, I would think so, maybe.
Not to that level, I don't think.
Not to the level she used to be. Okay. Then maybe have her work with a younger talent, help put them over.
Which is the idea.
Yeah.
She's already said, and they've already kind of had an interaction at the first, I think it was the first Women's Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I think it was. Forgive me if I'm mistaken.
Okay.
But what would you think of a Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks match?
I dig it.
Both good, similar kind of styles that seemed like they would work together. Kind of like even similar gimmicks in a way, like good, like charismatic heel, like personas, but can both like flip flop, baby. Like Trish would likely be the baby face in that. But
but also you got to think like they both be on SmackDown. They could promote it on football on Sundays because I've been watching football and like every game, every other commercial break, they're promoting Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I mean, what better for your audience of football fans in the wing joint than the amazing, gorgeous, beautiful, talented Trish Stratus and the also beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, very smart, very talented Sasha Banks.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's gonna make me put my chicken wing down. And
Yeah,
watch
no,
it,
you said it right the first time.
My chicken wing down and watch and listen. So
you're gonna pick your chicken ding up, I think. That being
the old chicken ding.
That being said,
Lord.
that was I guess my rapid fire last minute news for us. Let's go ahead and promote one more time. Thunder Championship Wrestling. Please give us a quick rundown of all the deets.
It is going to be this Friday coming up, September 25th at Tanner's Lakeside. The doors open at 7. Bell time is at 8 p.m. General admission tickets start at $10. Also, for your fans in Orlando, if you want to email them at tcw.flwrestling@gmail.com.
Send me a text with that, please, so I can put it in the show descriptions. Make sure that people know. Yeah,
I will, and I can send you the poster as well.
Absolutely, we'll post it. We'll post it.
Yeah, because if you guys are thinking about coming out for Orlando, you can email them. Get together with the promoter. You can send the money via PayPal, have your tickets locked in before you make the drive. And here locally, they're selling them at Mike's Auto Repair and Trader's Pawn Shop. And of course, at Tanner's Lakeside, if you live here locally in Polk County. and want to get tickets. But man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, they got a lot
cheap
of AEW
too, guys. It's socially
Yeah.
distant. It's cheap. It's
outside.
It's outside. It's on a lake in beautiful Winter Haven in Polk County. Yeah, it's a bit of a drive for us from Orlando. But how many times have you driven, an hour to go see a show? We've all done it.
Yeah.
So just do, like you said, email this address, email address that we're gonna post. Please, like they're $10, man. Like they're $10 tickets. I'd be going if I didn't already have plans, but like there's the next time we'll be very
well, I'm excited to the next time you come, because like I said, Mama Duce is gonna be there, Papa Duce is gonna be there, also
beautiful.
I'm gonna be there for the happy hour with Johnny and Duce, so make sure that you come out and say hi, because I know a lot of our fans are going to be coming out. So please swing by the table, come by and say hi. Be socially distant, please, but come by, say hi.
Say hi.
Also, speaking of the happy hour with Johnny and Duce, you can find us at facebook.com/happy hour podcast show. You can hit us up on the Twitter machine at HH podcast show. You can listen to all of our older episodes at soundcloud.com/happy hour podcast. And if you want to send us an email, because we're actually taking letters for two things right now. One is Buck the Mega Buck. We're going back to the Red Game Treasures compound.
Oh, so cool.
He's one of our great sponsors, and he is just a walking encyclopedia retro games. So if you've got any question you want to send to us, put Ask the Buck in the subject line and send it hhpodcastshow@gmail.com. And we're doing our own version of Hot Ones, and we're calling it Spicy Deuces. And we want your questions to send us while we're eating the hot wings. And we want you to send them to us at hhpodcastshow@gmail.com. But please put at the top Spicy Deuces, because
so you know what it is. Yeah.
Well, not just that, we're forwarding the questions to our third member, Brandy, so we don't see them, because I don't want to see them until
ruins the fun if you see
them. Yeah, because I want to be sweating my ass off, dying from these hot wings. Because we're gonna try and get. I found a couple packs that have like pretty much a whole set of sauces from Hot Ones that you can buy for at home.
Oh, wow.
And we're just gonna have them sent in, and then we're gonna just basically do the same thing and give it a shot and answer our listeners' questions. So,
well, cool, man. I really appreciate you being on. As
anytime,
always,
man.
dude.
It's always fun.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. That was a pretty long ass show. Hope Duncan's gonna be okay. He's gotta go rescue a friend.
A little over 2 hours. So another good long show. I'm
pretty I'm pretty exhausted from this, but I do love I love it, man. I love talking wrestling with my friends. Guys, if you don't know already, check out ohnowrestling.com, and if you're not familiar with my other flagship show, it's over at ohnowradioshow.com. Check out all the things that Oh No does. Oh No Media over on YouTube. That's a great source. Oh No Wrestling. We post all these videos of us doing this podcast. We post those over at Oh No Wrestling on YouTube. Please like us, subscribe to us. We need that shit. But most importantly, please subscribe to twitch.tv/ONRS Live. I'm going to be putting an infographic up on our Facebook group soon. So it explains how to link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account. It'll be free for you for basically a $3 donation to the Oh No Radio Show and Oh No Wrestling. We really, really hope that you do so. Please follow us. Again, twitch.tv/ONRS Live. We love you. And what do we say when we get out of here? Deuce.